Grown old, Andy Catlett has still ahead of him, and in obligation, the story of a time 118 years ago. That was early in his father's 7th year, before his father knew for sure his name was Wheeler and not Wheeler Boy, as he had so far been called, and as he would still be called by some of his older clients when down at the county seat he sat inside an upstairs window bearing the legend, Wheeler Catlett, attorney at law. They ate their supper at the sway-backed kitchen table. The young Wheeler, his parents, Dory and Marcellus, and Andrew, his brother, 5 years older. The table cleared, the dishes washed and put away. They left the fire in the kitchen stove to burn out, which it soon would do, and went through the cold hall carrying the lighted oil lamp into the living room, where they took their customary places near to the large heating stove that held fire night and day all winter. The two boys sat at either side of the small table where their father had set the lamp, so they would have light to do their lessons for the next day. Their mother opened her sewing basket on her lap and stretched a fretted sock heel over her darning egg. She would be near enough to the boys to keep them at their work, or try to. Wheeler had a quick mind and liked to use it. He had already submitted to a principle he would insist upon all his long life. Study your lessons. His brother, whom he adored but could not successfully imitate, was an adept shirker. As careful of their mother as she of them, they opened their books. Their father sat in his big rocking chair directly in front of the stove where he could tend the fire. Often in this interval between supper and bed he would read the Louisville paper. Or he would figure with a pencil in the small notebook compliments of Joe Moore general merchandise that he kept in the bib of his overalls. On that evening, he did at first open the notebook. He examined for a few moments one of its pages, and then he returned it to its pocket. Rubbing the fingers of one hand slowly over the knuckles of the other, he fell into what he called studying, by which he meant concentrated thought. A few days ago he had finished preparing his tobacco crop for the market, prizing at last the cured and graded, appraised and cherished leaves into hogsheads that he sent by the railroad to the auction warehouse in Louisville. His final duty to that crop, before he began the first work of the next, would be to go, in the morning, to Louisville to see it sold, and as he thought, to receive his check. For that reason, this would be for him a night of short sleep. The rail line between Cincinnati and Louisville passed within earshot of his own back door, but to get to Louisville in time for the sale he would have to catch an express train that stopped only at Eagleville, 10 miles away on horseback by road, and then another mile or so by foot across the river on the railroad bridge.